The biggest game of the week this last Saturday was Penn State and Ohio State. And I want to talk about James Franklin and Penn State. Going into this one, they were the number 3 team in the nation. They hadn't played a lot of great teams. With the teams that they did play, they were handling those teams. And everyone was kind of waiting for this game because throughout these James Franklin years where he has built Penn State back up to a very good program, a very consistent program, one unfortunate consistent thing has been losing to Ohio State. Going into this game, Franklin was 1-9 against Ohio State. And you get into the game, Penn State goes up 10-0 off of the pick 6, and you're thinking, oh wow, okay, this might be Penn State's year. They're at home. You know, things were looking good. They got a great defense. Their offense is more experienced. But as the game went on, Ohio State got into it. Will Howard got into the game, into the flow of things. And one thing Ohio State leaned on, which, you know, they haven't always leaned on throughout the season, was the run game. You look at the talent at receiver, but you also got to remember Ohio State's got 2 of the best running backs in the country in Henderson and Judkins. And they leaned on those guys, and they leaned on their offensive line. And going into this, I would have thought, okay, maybe you could even say Penn State has the upper hand in the trenches. That was not the case, though. And another one here where Franklin's losing out on physicality to this Ryan Day team. But there was also some big mistakes and some play calling, you know, questionable play calling. So they got into and goal situations 3 times, you know, first and goal situations 3 times. And out of those 3 times, they only got a field goal out of all of that. You look at their offense, it was really abysmal. They score 13 points. 7 of those points is from a pick 6. Didn't get in the end zone 1 time. The first time around that they didn't get any points was they throw an interception. You know, that's kind of like a toss-up play. Okay, you know, that was coming off a play where Penn State punched it out of Ohio State's runner going to the end zone, ends up a touchback. Okay, back and forth, kind of turnovers there. You'll live with that. But really, I think the big one was the and goal situation. You do basically the same play 3 times in a row. You don't get anything. Ohio State stuffs you. Mind you, this is 4th quarter with like 6 minutes to go. You're down 20-13, and they can't get it in. They're right there inside the 5. They have 4 chances. And even the play on 4th down, even when they went for it on 4th down that was just a bad play call. There's nothing much to it. You know, Aller just drops back. No misdirection, no nothing there. So really uninspired play calling there from Franklin and his staff as well. With this win for Ohio State, this was one of the better wins under Ryan Day. Ohio State showed up with the physicality. They won this game off the run game and in the trenches on offense and defense. So I want to talk about kind of what is next for Penn State here, because obviously you look at the rest of their schedule, you're thinking, okay, Penn State will probably go 11-1. And they might miss the Big Ten championship game. In fact, they probably will, but they'll probably end 11-1 and make it into the college football playoff. That's great and all. You'll finally get into the college football playoff. We kind of lower the bar a little bit for you, Penn State. But I can't put this Penn State team in the tier of Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, even Texas. I can't put them in that top tier that I would say are legitimate national title contenders, because just the offense continually year in and year out has fallen flat, and this year's no exception against against a real team in Ohio State, a real national championship contender. Yes, this was close, but it actually could have been even worse. I want to go over to the AP poll here. Oregon stays at number 1, makes sense. They beat Michigan. Georgia stays at number 2 after a serious battle with Florida, a Florida team that was on their like 3rd or 4th string quarterback, injuries everywhere, and Georgia almost lost that game. You can't be a scoreboard watcher and say 34-20. Oh, that's a pretty comfortable win. No, it was 20-20. Basically near the end of the game. They really should have moved down, and they should have put Ohio State at number 2. They really should have. I can't say anything but SEC bias at this point. Just that, oh, we think Georgia is good. Based on the resumes, you have to give it to Ohio State. Ohio State has played one of the tougher schedules, not already played one of the tougher schedules, but this second half of the season for Ohio State will be one of the tougher schedules out there. They're number 3. Number 4 is Miami. Miami had a little scare there for a second against Duke, but then they pulled away, and that Cam Ward offense looking very good. We got the Miami shirt on right now. Then number 5, Texas. Number 6 is Penn State. Penn State goes down 3 spots. Tennessee stays at number 7 after kind of a close one with Kentucky. Again, I'm not totally sold on Tennessee. Indiana moves up 5 spots up to number 9. Indiana finally getting that top 10 respect after the win at Michigan. They were down 10-0 early, and they storm back and score 47 points. Like, when's the last time we've seen an Indiana team score 47 points? What they're doing over there is very impressive. And then we got number 9, BYU. BYU, the last undefeated Big 12 team in a wild Big 12, and they could easily lose against their rival Utah coming up this next week. Number 10, Notre Dame, which, I can definitely agree, they deserve to be up there. Their one loss being an early season loss to Northern Illinois. It's like, okay. 11, Alabama. Then we got Boise State, SMU up 7 spots. Honestly, I think Bama's a little high. Like, the Bama being the highest 2-loss team, like, yeah, of course, okay. But I would rather put Boise State above them, SMU above them. You could even argue LSU maybe. So here's my top 10 this week. We got number 1, Oregon. Number 2, Ohio State. You look at what Ohio State... They dominated the trenches against Penn State and beat what was really a top 3 team in Penn State. And they were this close to beating number 1 Oregon, an Oregon team that has looked very good as the season has gone on. So I think they definitely deserve to be number 2. Georgia, number 3. They got some good wins on the resume. But that last week against Florida, they deserve to drop a spot or 2. Then we got number 4, Texas, right after Georgia. And then number 5, Miami. Again, they haven't really played that great of competition when you compare these other top 4 teams. Number 6, Notre Dame. A Notre Dame team has continually gotten better and better since that upset to Northern Illinois. The Texas A&M loss, yes, Texas A&M just got blown out, which, by the way, my videos seem to be like curses for teams. Like, every time I do a video on a team, they go and lose the next week. And then we got Penn State. Then we got BYU and Indiana, 2 undefeateds there. And then number 10, Tennessee, rounding it out again. I'm not completely sold on Tennessee being a top 8 team. So I will try to do a stream on Tuesday night with the reactions to the very first college football playoff rankings coming out for this week. They'll be out. That'll go up on Tuesday, so look for that. And let me know in the comments below. Do you think Penn State can turn things around? Will they always be in Ohio State's shadow? Let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.